Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Rafael Piroman. This weekend, much of the public conversation was dominated by the suicides of Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade. And their death has certainly brought the subject of suicide to national attention. But this tragic reality is even more disturbing and widespread than many Americans believe. Here in New York City, for example, a cab driver was found dead after jumping into the East River on May 11th. He was the fifth cabbie to kill himself in just a period of 5 months. So what is driving this terrible and growing trend? Metro Focus co-host Jack Ford recently had the opportunity to speak with the executive director of the New York Taxi Workers Alliance, Bhairavi Desai, whose organization believes it knows what's causing the extra stress driving some cab drivers to suicide.
One of the drivers, Douglas Shifter, he himself left a suicide note. Kenny Chow, who was the driver, who went missing on May 11th and was found to have committed suicide. All of his friends and families said that for months he'd just been, increasingly depressed, that he was losing weight, he just looked more despondent. And the thing that really weighed on him were the economics, that it was getting harder and harder to make a living out there. The same things that Douglas posted on his note. Nicanor Ochesor, who hung himself, also his friends and family had said that for weeks and months he had been talking about the financial distress. And, for Nicanor, this is a man who was getting older, he was nearing retirement, and he saw no possibility of retirement. And he and his wife, they drove that cab together. For over 20 years, they shared the shift.
One of the things you hear most often is the introduction now of Uber into the city. Talk about the impact that has had on the taxi drivers.
So, Uber and then Lyft followed a year later. These companies came into this city and after 2013, 2014. Unlike the yellow cab industry, for example, which is highly regulated, they operate in the black car sector, which for years was only serving corporate clients and remained the most underregulated. For example, there's no regulation that says you have to have a brand new vehicle if you're gonna be in the black car sector. The rate of fare is also not regulated.
As opposed to the taxi drivers.
Absolutely.
Who do have those regulations.
Right. And the number of vehicles is not regulated. And so while today you have like 13,650 yellow cabs, in total you have 130,000 vehicles. So the rest are all black cars or they're green cabs, 4,000 are green cabs, but all those vehicles can be dispatched to by companies like Uber and Lyft. In fact, 70,000 of them are directly affiliated with Uber itself. So, congestion's been a major problem in this city. When you're driving for a living, you're stuck in traffic, you can't make ends meet. And for yellow cabs, right, that are street hailed, in order to be hailed, you have to be seen. Well, just 5 years ago, right before, Uber really entered, the city had held an auction, and the medallions are auctioned by the city of New York. They're also sold on the open market, but new ones are auctioned by the city. And at that time, the value went up to $1 million. Imagine if you're an individual owner driver, they have the highest expenses. And so we're seeing high rates of bankruptcies and foreclosures. Many of those medallions are tied to housing mortgages. And so you're now seeing foreclosures also on people's houses.
People have secured the debt on the medallion with their homes.
Yes, or they've purchased, their home through that medallion loan.
For new medallions, what are we talking about? The drop from, as you said, the top of $1 million, which was not sustainable.
The lowest amount that we've seen so far is 150,000. You're talking about, right, like on average, an 80% drop in that value.
What do you think can be done?
It's absolutely not too late. This economic crisis is a result of the city's failure to regulate these Wall Street finance companies. There needs to be a cap on the number of vehicles that are clogging the streets, making it impossible for drivers to earn a living. There's not enough fares to go around. There needs to be regulation on the rate of fare, because these companies like Uber and Lyft, through their Wall Street investor money, they subsidize the fare to the public, and when they attract new customers, they're offering fares at below cost, which somebody that has a $6,000 medallion mortgage, can by no means compete with. And anyway, that fare is regulated by the city. So we want the minimum rate of fare to be regulated, to say the taxi meter should be the minimum across the board. We want labor standards in this new app market, which is the dominant force in the industry right now. As they keep dropping labor standards, it's a race to the bottom for everybody. We want to see a cap on the financing of vehicles that app drivers have to pay. Imagine for like $40,000 car, you end up paying $80,000 because of the predatory lending. We want to see a cap on the commission that these companies can charge the drivers. If Uber and Lyft are going to provide the maximum number of jobs in this industry, then they need to be jobs. They can't be poverty pay gigs, which is what these companies now offer. And for owner drivers, we need to see an end to the foreclosures and the bankruptcies. Maybe a short-term, small infusion of grants to help with even 1, 2, 3 months of mortgages. And then the city needs to use its political might to get the banks and the lenders to lower the interest rate and to extend the contracts, similar to what we saw in terms of support for small homeowners.
Very troublesome, problematic issues across the board that impact everybody in the city, as you mentioned. Ravi, thank you so much for spending some time and talking with us and sharing some of your concerns.
Thank you so much.
You be well.